Alright fam, I have one question I'd like to ask before we start.
What year is it?
Kate Bush is at the top of the charts, there's a Top Gun movie in theaters, and high-waisted jeans are back with a vengeance. Seriously, is this the 80s? Cause I got a pair of Reebok pumps and New Wave records to sell ya.
Cowabunga!
Today we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Between the hype for the Cowabunga collection and the release of Shredder's Revenge, the Ninja Turtles property is still a whirlwind franchise releasing content and merchandise across all mediums, even with some big stumbles along the way. What was that? Did you see that? Anywho, I'm sure everyone already knows about their toys, immense line of comics, several TV shows and movies, and those bed sheets that everyone had. I swear, if you're of a certain age, you either had those sheets or someone you knew did. No ifs, ands, or buts. Well, maybe some buts. It seems like every couple of years we get some big new beat-em-up bundle or revival titles like the Half-Hearted Turtles in Time Reshelled, Streets of Rage 4, Double Dragon Neon, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, River City Girls, I'm sure the list goes on and on. They've never really went away, but they're seeing a huge return to quality and a commitment to the 2D side-scrolling experience. Shredder's Revenge is the latest title with a Ninja Turtle touch, and more than that, it's an absolute love letter to the Turtles and the beat-em-up genre. Everything about it follows the tenet of old meets new. It has the classic aesthetic of the 80s Turtle cartoon with completely overhauled pixel art and combat that feels fresh and revitalized. The game has more levels than any other single Turtles beat-em-up, and the controls have clear and deliberate nuance. Not that the previous ones didn't, it's just far more apparent here in a modern sense. The soundtrack is off the fucking chain too. It's full of brand new tracks in the style of old games, as well as some bouncy, eclectic, vocalized tracks that perfectly capture the vibe, and Shredder's theme, We Ain't Came to Lose, comes with contributions from Raekwon and Ghostface Killer of the Wu-Tang Clan. These soundtracks always have a ton of memorable tunes, and I'm super glad they continued this tradition. Can't tell you how many times the tunes for Big Apple 3 AM or Sewer Surfin' pop up in my head till this day. Take the fight to the streets and skies of New York, Dimension X, and the badly damaged Technodrome in the battle to stop Shredder and his gallery of goons. You get your pick from the usual suspects, including Turtles Leo, Mikey, Raph, and Donnie, as well as Master Splinter, April O'Neil, and the unlockable Casey Jones. Every character looks and feels super unique, and their attributes play heavily into their combat style. For example, Donnie has the most reach and moderate damage output, but is one of the slowest fighters on the roster. On the other hand, April is one of the fastest, has moderate range, and minimal damage. Don't let that fool you though, she's kind of a monster, and in my opinion, second only to Casey or maybe Splinter. She put everyone on notice in All-Star Brawl. I've never researched the tier listings for that game, but in my own experience with it, I have to imagine she's pretty high up there. The art is pixel perfect and captures a level of cute, raw energy that perfectly fits the style of 80s Ninja Turtles. I mean, look at it, it's so ridiculously pretty. The game even features the original Turtles voice actors Cam Clark, Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon, and Rob Paulson, all now legends in the voice acting field, reprising their roles, and it feels like a real trip down memory lane. The absence of James Avery as Shredder, however, is sorely felt by this old Turtles fan. In terms of function, it doesn't exactly break the mold. If you've played one of these games before, you know the deal. Run around beating everyone's ass like they owe you money, avoid taking damage, and go toe-to-toe with the end-level boss with an occasional vehicle-based level peppered in there. 3 in this case. The game is taken to the next level with character leveling, dodge rolls, unique movesets, and animations for every character, and a handy super meter. Nothing particularly new, but always welcome. You can fill the super meter by either catching your breath to taunt some enemies or beat them into oblivion until the meter fills. Seriously, you can infinitely juggle the shit out of them, but don't get hit. That'll deplete any unfinished meter you have. The juggle serves a dual purpose, the other being a seamless way to get every player in on the action. During the chaos of a 6-player playthrough, it can become impossible to see your own character, so if you're attacking, you're hitting something. The supers are quite indispensable and frankly maybe a bit too strong, but they're stylish and too much fun to sleep on. Sure, you could argue that these functions are now staples of the modern beat-em-up, but this is a Ninja Turtles game we're talking about. A good Ninja Turtles game. The property severely ebbs and flows in quality by title, and for just as many wins they have quite a few losses. But yeah, it's the perfect property to really grab the attention of the geekosphere, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, to show what DotEmu can really do. DotEmu? How do you say that? You beat up on classic henchmen for the most part, including a slew of rainbow-colored Foot Clan members, Mousers, whatever the fuck these things are called, Dimension X rock soldiers, and pizza monsters remodeled ever so slightly, likely so they don't get their dicks suit off. Along the way, you pick up collectibles for some of the franchise's outlying and secondary characters, including the Neutrinos, the absolute worst thing that's ever happened in Ninja Turtles. Just, ugh. Hey, you get the fuck out of here, you're next. I've played a lot of the Turtles classic games, so I can clearly see that the devs are huge fans of these games, and the love, care, and effort that went into it shows in every single frame. The loving detail and insane callbacks to the classic titles are apparent and appreciated. Classic maneuvers such as swing bashing enemies and throwing them at the screen are recreated and integrated into each character's moveset. Even some of the stage names are references to old games. Now, let's talk about the bosses for a minute. We've got a ton of returning bosses, including the perpetually boneheaded duo of Bebop and Rocksteady, Maidenless Nerd and Human Flyman Baxter Stockman, Chewing Gum Iron Man Krang. No, wait, he's this guy. Leatherhead, General Trag, the mentally ill Rat King. Seriously, get this dude some help. A Titanic Turtle Tank Metalhead, and B-Team Bebop and Rocksteady Benchwarmers Toka and Razar. We've even got Ground Chuck, Dirtbag, and Tempestra making what I believe is their game debuts, but don't quote me on that one. Sorry kids, no Tatsu this time. He'll be waiting when you replay the Hyperstone heist. So we've got a veritable who's who of TMNT all-star bad guys and everyone's ready to kick some ass, but we've got one problem. The bosses are too easy. They also take big damage from your specials, and their patterns are some of the most predictable I've seen in the series. I remember in the original Turtles arcade, Shredder had a one-hit kill move and it felt like real danger. Even Super Shredder here kind of feels like easy pickings. Maybe I have to up the difficulty, I've been playing on normal. But so far, it's not feeling so balanced. Maybe that'll change in the future. Multiplayer is always a welcome addition and has always been the ultimate way to experience Ninja Turtle beat-em-ups. I have extremely fond memories of playing TMNT Arcade on Xbox Live a few years back. 15 years. 15 years ago. Fuck me. Alright, if you'll excuse me for a second, I'm gonna go take my multivitamin and maybe get an early bird special or some shit. I was not ready for that to say 2007. They upped the ante this time by adding 6-player co-op. I think the quality of the mode varies depending on your mood. At times, the utter chaos and calamity feels great. You're just kicking it with your friends or some randos and shit is going down, right? Other times, it has way too much going on screen in a way that makes it feel overwhelming and incomprehensible. I sometimes had trouble focusing on my own character in a sea of sprite bodies, so I would have to completely disengage to reorient myself. Personally, I think 3 to 4 players is the perfect amount. The levels feel more manageable in that range. It recreates the old game so well that the stage proportions don't seem that optimal for 6-player action. It's not like the old 6-player X-Men arcade machines that accommodated that number of players with 2 screens. It's certainly better in a 16:9 dimension, but it's not quite the same. Much in the vein of the previous arcade titles, the more players you add, the more enemies show up, and the boss's HP meters get a bit of a buff to accommodate all the wildly swinging characters on screen. Multiplayer also adds party healing pizzas, health sharing high fives, and revives to keep everyone alive and kicking. Literally. Another facet of the game that bothers me is the lack of inclusion of any Turtles lore not relevant to the 80s cartoon. I get that it's a nostalgia kick into overdrive, but a lot of the best Turtles related lore and story stuff came after the 80s cartoon. Frankly, the 80s cartoon isn't even the best Ninja Turtle series they've produced, and no, it's not even close. Because of this, we don't get some characters peppered through the history of Turtles like Karai, Jenica, Agent Bishop, the Neutralizer, Tiger Claw, Alopex, still not you. And don't get me wrong, they absolutely nailed what they did. I've been praising this game the entire video, so I think I've made that clear. I just wish there had been some more consideration with that. I've been hearing about some glitches too, but I haven't personally experienced anything off that wasn't network related. The team at DotEmu's tribute to this series is just so complete. They've done an amazing job with it. It's extremely apparent they have so much love for this property, it would literally ooze out of the case if I had a physical copy. Don't let it touch you though. Who knows what the fuck you'll turn into. But you want to know the best part about Shredder's Revenge? It's a genuinely great game. The devs could have rested on their laurels and given us a mediocre game with the turtle slapped on it, like many others have, but it goes above and beyond to deliver a technically impressive gem that people should be talking about long after the initial hype dies down. Shredder's Revenge ups the ante with everyone's favorite ass-kicking Reptiles and company. The game so perfectly pays tribute to the old school Turtles games, it ends up standing the tallest among them. Nostalgia's great and all, but taking it to the next level with this modern, highly competent and stylized game is the cherry on top of the ice cream pizza. Ugh, never mind, that sounds horrible. Go give Shredder's Revenge a try if you're just playing a fan of video games. It's pretty much on every platform and even on Game Pass, and it's definitely worth a pizza your time. Sorry, I'll go now.